Let me say a special good morning to those of you listening to Classic Radio. Good morning to you once again. Those of you in tune to GBN TV, good morning wherever you're viewing, whether you're viewing Channel 7, Channel 11, Channel 20. Good morning. Welcome. Let me say good morning also to those of you of our social media platforms, whether it's a Facebook page, YouTube channels. Good morning. I'm your host, GT. Welcome once again to The Point. And today, my guest on today's program, we have Mr. Randy Boyk. Hope I get it right. Cadet. Hope I get it right?
You're correct.
You get it right. All right. But he's the, of course, Deputy Controller, Inland Revenue Division. We also have Mr. Ferren Penny. Of course, he's the Assessment Supervisor in the Revenue Division. Am I right about the, of course,
correct,
the portfolio that everybody holds?
Correct.
All right, man. And I'm GT. Easy as that. So once again, good morning to the listeners and viewers. Gentlemen, good morning. Of course, we had the informal formalities, of course, in the studio, but Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you and to you and all your listeners and viewers.
All right. Our focus for our conversation this morning, was it last year? You did make mention of it. Right. It will be coming and will be implemented. We're talking G-Tax this morning.
That's right.
We were talking, of course, the introduction of it to a point. We're talking, of course, the importance of people understanding what it's all about. As will be our focus of our conversation this morning. And how it will benefit the regular Grenadian who, of course, was about and pay their taxes in general and using it for that purpose, using the G-Tax. Now, the question to start the conversation of this morning, what is G-Tax? And why did the Indian Revenue, of course, decide to introduce this particular platform? I was going to get the ball rolling off of that this morning.
I'll start off. Thank you for the initial question. And G-Tax, G for Grenada, and we call it Grenada Tax. It is our way of bringing our tax office to the homes, to the hands of Grenadians. Okay. It is also our way of streamlining our processes, making it more convenient for Grenadians to interact with Inland Revenue. And note I say interact and not just pay taxes. Okay. Because we want to let the nation know that what we do is not mainly or not only to collect government revenue. We are there to administer, provide education, to provide services, so that eventually the revenue will come in.
That ease of conversation.
Indeed. Of course, and we have been having some very good conversation with our taxpayers. So we kind of shifting the culture a bit, where persons can feel more comfortable interacting with us. And as part of government's digital agenda, transformational journey, one of the pillars they have is to ensure that we streamline government services to move it to more digital, because we accept that the future of tax administration is digital. It's
a way of the world, as some folks would say now. It's a way of the world. Everything an individual planning doing is going to be by some device or something of the sort. Not much people will be happy of it, as you said. You would like to have the conversation, but it's becoming a way of where we're going to be having that conversation with individuals these days. It's going to be by particular devices. My second question goes like this. Who can use G-Tax? Is it for businesses only or both business and individuals?
Businesses, individuals. You, Tanti down the road, grandma, you name it. It's for every Grenadian who may be liable to pay taxes. Persons who are involved in different forms of business ventures. So we're talking about the sole traders, we're talking about the partnerships, the companies. We're also talking about the employees. So G-Tax is for all property owners as well. G-Tax is for all Grenadians. Again, it's Inland Revenue in a digital form.
Okay.
G-Tax is Inland Revenue in a digital form.
How important is this for individuals to understand this new dimension of paying taxes?
Well, it's very important for them to understand because it's a way forward, first of all. So, persons normally will have to come into the Inland Revenue to inquire regarding filing, regarding payment, and all that stuff. So now as we have it online, we have an online platform, it makes it much easier for them to understand. Because with taxes, you have to understand the taxes in order to comply and to do what is required of you. So now the online platform make it easier. Everything is right at your fingertip. is, as Mr. Carter says, encourage engagement with the Inland Revenue without actually having to be physical come to the Inland Revenue.
It's a way of understanding it at your own pace also.
Exactly.
Right.
All right.
Right.
All right. I mean, in your comfort of your home, even at work, and you can go through the different details about the taxes that you intend to pay and understand it at your pace. So
Exactly, because you will see your balances, you will see your filing obligations, you will see all that. You'll be informed right on the platform.
What kind of taxes could be paid via the G-Tax?
You can pay VAT, value added tax, excise tax, income tax, PAT, which is personal income tax, corporate income tax, stamp tax. Most of the taxes right now you can file and pay, with the exception, I believe, of the property tax.
With the exception of property tax.
Exception of the property tax.
Would that be implemented soon?
It will be implemented. We are in the implementation stage, so everything is not, all I's are not dotted and T's crossed as yet, but we get in there. Presently, most of the taxes are there.
And just to add, GT, what we did in the Inland Revenue, we made a decision to tailor or stagger the implementation of G-Tax. So you would appreciate that in 2024, we went live with the VAT and the PE. This year, we are going with other tax types with the exception of property tax. Next year, please the Lord, the full system.
So it's like a phased approach to all the taxes.
That's right.
Now tell me, someone may ask, well, how does this G-Tax improve the filing and the experience compared to personal visits? How will that, tell me about that?
Definitely will improve.
We mentioned it briefly already, but how will it, make it different for for the individual?
It's a big difference. First of all, convenience, time saved. Persons will normally have to go in line, now they come online.
Yes.
So it's a big benefit for them in terms of they will save time. They no longer have to come and make a personal inquiry, as I said before. They will see the balances, they will see the filing obligations.
Okay.
So it's a big benefit for the taxpayers and also the Inland Revenue.
Yeah.
All right.
Because there will be an increase in efficiency, there will be an increase in accuracy, and all that.
And I want to add compliance.
Yes.
Because compliance remains a top priority for us. And we believe that when we bring the tax office closer, and as Penny said, more convenient, people will feel more comfortable operating, interacting with us. And we are hoping that, we will see compliance up, not just on payment, but registration, filing as well.
So in essence, an individual, I think that option was available in 2024, where businesses can come in and file, or not come in, but actually go online and register their businesses for their tax. That was available in 2024, 2025.
Yes, exactly.
That was available. Now the option is open for you now. You can actually do the registration and pay your taxes at your convenience.
That's right.
You get up 12 o'clock in the night and decide you want to do that.
Correct.
At midnight, and decide you want to do that. No longer would you have to say, well, I'm taking lunch from work and I have to go and stand up in the lines at Inland Revenue.
Exactly.
Junior
lunchtime, you could probably be paying your taxes.
Exactly.
And the example you use is profound, because sometime in November, the VAT deadline 20th, a taxpayer called, I'm on a carnage, traffic tight. Will you all be open? I say, my brother, hold on, you can go home and take your time. We have up until midnight to pay. Yeah. And they say, oh yes, G-Tax, so there's no need to rush in the community office. I mean, however, we want to guard against last minute.
Yeah.
We want to guard against complacency. Sometimes traditionally, Grenadians take things for granted. You wait until the last minute. You have the platform at your fingertip, at your convenience. Don't wait until the last minute to go and try to file or to go and try to pay. Do all that you can do now.
Let me put in something here. One of the big benefits I see is that from where I sit in the Inland Revenue, a lot of persons will come in and they will say, I did not know I have a liability. I did not know I have to file.
Okay.
So with the G-Tax, that excuse can be no more. From the time you log on, you will see if you have to file, you will see your balances. So definitely that will increase compliance. It should increase compliance.
So for individuals who may think, well, I'm working for X, Y, and Z, and I don't, maybe my boss maybe have never told me that I have to pay income tax or whatever tax that I have to pay. Some folks go along with that particular, concept. I didn't know I have to. Maybe in the manner in which they are paid and so forth, they think, well, maybe I ain't added up to what I'm supposed to. If you get my drift of the question. Now, can someone go to the GTax platform and get that level of understanding in terms of how the taxes to be paid?
Yes. Once your account is activated, then and you log in, you will see. You will see if you have to file, you will see if you have to pay, you will see your balances.
Okay. How can an individual access GTax? That's important, because folks may think, well, maybe I need to. I didn't mention you from any device, but I maybe want to hear it from you saying. How can I access GTax?
Well, GTax is a website, tax.gov.gd, like any other website. You type it in, and you'll take it to the website. When you get to that website, you'll have to log in. It will ask you for certain requirements like your email address or your phone number. So you just fill in the form as normal, like any other online activity.
There's a sign-up process.
Of course.
All right.
It can, for example, we have an old system, which is SIGTAS. So a lot of persons are already registered.
Okay. So
it's a matter of transition into the new system. And persons that are already registered, all they have to do is activate in the new system. Okay. You don't need to register again.
Okay.
You just need to activate your account in the new system. Okay. Persons who are not registered will have to register from scratch in a new platform.
Is it a simple process, or is it have a level
very
of complication?
Simple, user-friendly process, like any other online form.
Yeah.
And it's important that Penny mentioned registration, because I think towards the end of last year, we went on a registration drive where we tried to promote persons to start interacting and using the system. The uptake has not been as great as we like, so we are here to kind of encourage that, because we do not want to wait until the last 2 days in March, because March starts the first deadline where most of the salaried workers and the self-employed have to file the PIT returns and the annual stamp tax. We really do not want to wait on March, because that will put pressure on our system. Our human resource capacity will be stretched. So we are here at this time before independence to inform Grenadians that it's important for us to fulfill our patriotic duties, and try to get onto GTax as soon as it possibly can. Between now and maybe towards the end of March, we will intensify our PR efforts so that more persons could be aware. So this is just a step, for us to start getting Grenadians to understand that you are no longer expected to come into Inland Revenue to fill out the green form, that famous green form, right? Now all that will be done online, but we don't want you to wait until March. We want you to start all now.
There's always going to be a level of concerns that will come from citizens. Anyone that wants to have to pay tax, and especially, we always hear this concern about, scammers and all of these things, when anyone wants to do anything online. Security of the system. How secure is the system?
Well, our chain is as strong as its weakest link. But I can say to Grenadians that security is a top priority for us, not just in Inland Revenue, but all of government. We understand that the future is digital. We understand that there are a lot of bad actors outside there who might be looking to do bad business. So we ensured with our vendor that we have top security protocols built into the system. So we have, for example, we restrict certain rights. Some unauthorized persons will not be able to access the taxpayer's account. We have encrypted features there. Multi-factor authentication is also there. Security remains a top priority. Whatever you log in, that's your credentials. So you have to remember your password. You have to remember your tax account number. Of course, your email. So security triggered for us a very important aspect of what we're doing here, because we do not want that to be compromised.
I mean, I say that because there's still going to be individuals who have that level of hesitancy.
Yes.
Who prefer to have that pen and paper to do whatever they have to do still in terms of doing things online. So that's why I asked the question, because it's to make that
it's an important question. Very important question.
It's a better way to go. I know folks who doesn't even want to use a telecard still.
So we have just to provide more comfort.
Yeah.
We have been built in our procedures and policies to ensure that we do penetration testing, vulnerability testing at least twice a year. Right. So we are working very close with the Ministry of ICT to ensure that those things are happening.
All right. We drew for a break, gentlemen. Let's take it. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Stay with us, folks. To the point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We will be right back after the break. Don't touch it down. Shop.
Grenada, are you ready for the biggest football showdown to kick off 2026? Our senior men's national team is back and they're going for 7 straight wins. Sunday, January 18th, Team Grenada takes on regional rivals Jamaica in a clash of titans at the Karani James Athletic Stadium. Kickoff 5 p.m. sharp. It's pride, power, and pure Caribbean football. Grenada versus Jamaica, a rivalry like no other. Can we make it 7 in a row? Come feel the energy, the passion, the fight. Tickets just $25 for adults, $10 for children. Kids under 10 enter free. Grab yours now at Heather's Boutique, Chucky's Bar, Grenadian Optical, or GFA's office. Tell your friends, bring the family, and let's pack the stadium. This is more than a match. This is Grenada versus Jamaica, and we want all of you to be in the stands. Sunday, January 18th at 5 p.m. Grenada versus Jamaica. One team, one goal.
What am I dealing with? Well, you know this is me, one lion, two dread. GBN Oil Long Fest. All the Oil Long bosses out there, come and register. Pulse Airstrip, January 31st, we outside. And we see who can cook. They say country better than tongue, but we go find out on the 31st of January. Come on, GBN Oil Long Fest. You can't miss it. Food just tastes good. Oil Long just tastes better. Oh, when I get mad at Greece, I Greece said down, and I feel like I can't move in the
Hey everyone, here is an invitation to join me this and every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. on GBN Television 711 K105 FM, our Facebook page and YouTube channel for Kaiso Talk. Meet the Kaisonians, hear their stories, feel the vibes. Kaiso Talk, Wednesdays 8:30 p.m. Compliments the Grenville Credit Union.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Once again, it's To The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. And of course, we have, Miss Nikisha McDonald join us. Good morning to you, my dear. How are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm great. And you?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
I think I'm in the hundreds of the percentage. I'll be on the percentage.
Same here.
That's how I'm feeling good. Nice to have you this morning. Of course, Nikisha, is the, I hope you don't mind me calling you by the first name. Nikisha is the Corporate Communication Officer within the Ministry of Finance, and she's joined us this morning in our conversation with G-Tax. And gentlemen, once again, welcome back. Let's continue the conversation this morning. User-friendly is something that is important. We gasped it in one of the questions before. Because someone may ask a question, how user-friendly is the platform in terms of for persons who are not tech-savvy per se. Not everybody is into using of the computer, especially wanting to go online and all of these things and going through the whole process of that. Is it that the system is, or the platform per se, is it that easy for someone to understand who maybe not be as tech-savvy as I mentioned?
Okay, so yes, I would say the platform is very tech savvy. persons ranging from even the age of 16 can use it. Even someone who is at 65 can use it because it has instructions almost at every step. So it's just a matter of reading little key points, saying, okay, this is what you do, this is step 1, this is step 2. And we also have a series of videos that we usually post guiding persons on how to exactly use the platform. And in the event you run into any difficulty, we are always here at your fingertips. Just give us a call and we are more than happy to assist you.
Right, so you still can make that phone call and get assistance if we need to.
Correct.
And just to add to what Nikisha said about our ability to provide support to our taxpayers, at the Galleria Mall, we have a kiosk facility set up where we have, I think it's 3 or 4 tablets. So that persons who might be challenged, who may not want to use a personal device, we've made those things available. I think it was important for us to do that because if you want to encourage compliance, you have to meet the taxpayers, sometimes more than halfway. So we're providing that hand-holding support, that education support, and that excellent service delivery. That's part of the package that comes with GTAX. And we are proud to let Grenadians know that you do not have to be scared of interacting with the technology. You can come into us. We are there to help you. In fact, we work for you. So whenever you come to us, we will work with you so that you can interact and get comfortable with the technology that we have made available.
Tell me, I guess there are steps, of course, that you won't have to go through to get started with GTAX. Speak to me in relation to the steps.
Well, Penny's the man for that. Penny's the man for that.
The steps to get registered. Well, first of all, you have to log in, as I said, tax.gov.gd.
Okay.
Then it will. There's a blue button. Log in. You hit the blue button. You log in. It will ask you for.
I guess you will see that on the web page.
On the web page, blue button. Then you will have to put in your email address and or your phone number.
All right.
And your old TIN number. So if you're activating, then you will get a response
via email,
which is telling you to activate. So when you hit that from your email, it will redirect you back to the platform. And Nikisha, where you go from there? Because I'm talking off the head, but
it's all right. So then, if you're a existing taxpayer, we have to do a background search, basically, which will take approximately 48 hours. So we have to make sure that the information you are submitting is correct with what we have in our system, right? So we cross-reference it, then we give you access to the platform.
So that's before you can move forward to paying your taxes.
Correct.
Once you get registered or you sign up, as we say, you wait 48 hours to get a response, and then you can move forward. I guess there's some coding or something we send to you that would allow you to get access again.
Correct. So it will send all of the information via your email.
Okay.
Right. Once it does, you click the button and it will redirect you to the tax.gov.gt website or GTAX, and you would get access to your taxes.
All right. Nikisha made the 48 hours, and she said it with such confidence. Right. We are holding.
It makes me feel over.
We are holding ourselves. We are holding ourselves at IRD to some high standards. We know traditionally, and persons perhaps might give us some blows for that we have not been very timely in responding to our taxpayers. We are hoping that GTAX will help us improve on that level of inefficiency. So the 48 hours, we set ourselves that standard. Don't hold us too tight, please. A little patience, because it's a behavior we're trying to change as well, as we try to improve the way we interact, the way we professionalize our inland revenue. But we set 48 hours as our service standard, and we are hoping as far as possible to achieve that. But what could happen to derail us from achieving that is the magnitude of persons that might be interacting with the system at the same time, expecting quick response. And I want to remind Grenadians, because we have seen the history. See that last weekend match? Everybody now realize I have to file because they don't want to pay the filing penalty of $500. That last weekend match, that's when you see people start coming in. We want to say people know. You do not have to wait until match. You can start all now. Register with GTAX. Give us enough time to do our background check so that we can activate your code. send it to you so that you can start filing. We really want to encourage early filing.
Okay, great. Nice to hear that. You know, there's the issue of folks especially going online and worrying about errors in terms of when they're making their filing and so forth. Will GTAX help to eliminate that error filing? So
errors will be highly minimized.
So I should have put a 5 and I put a 2.
Of course.
And I do this.
That is one of the main benefits of GTAX.
How would that GTAX help an individual to
because all the forms that persons are accustomed filing, they're used to filing. It's basically a replica of that on GTAX.
Okay.
The help is they don't have to complete every line no more. There are just some compulsory lines, 1 or 2, and then the other lines are just calculable.
Okay.
So you no longer have to pull a calculator. You no longer have to worry if you put a 2 instead of a 5.
Okay.
Once you input the necessary information, which is not much in most cases, everything else will calculate once you hit the save button.
Okay, so you see that the GTAX have that auto-correcting ability also?
Of course, because there are validations inputted in the forms that could guide you along. If you make an error, you can see you make an error because the lines are calculable and there are validations to the forms.
All right.
Let me come in here, GT, because Penny mentioned errors, and I want Grenadians to know, or filers, on the reporting is not an error, right? So because the system will do those background checks, because we still have to audit certain returns that come in. So we want to encourage Grenadians. If you know that your tax liability is expected to be $5,000, don't put $500. And then when we try to audit you, say, I make an error. Be careful, be very careful on the reporting. We'll be very serious in improving on compliance. So we're talking again, not just registration, not just filing, not just payment, but reporting as well.
But penalties be involved in an individual who, of course, decide, I'm under reporting, and there's there penalties involved in that?
Of course, there must be penalties because when they audit you, you'll have a compounding interest of 1.5, and if you take a year or 2 years and before you get caught, it might add up to a lot. Then you have a penalty of 20% on any amount of money owing to the government. And that is for the payment side.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So folks are asked to comply and do what is right. Do what is right.
Do what is right. That's the basic one. Do what is right.
Now tell me this. How does GTAX benefit small businesses? Employees, the self-employed individuals. Tell me, how does GTAX benefit?
As I said before, time is one of the key aspects here. Persons had to come in line, they had to leave the business place. A lot of bosses came to me before saying, after run back, I don't have the time. I didn't file because of X, Y, I'm the only person in the business and all that stuff. Right now, no excuse. So it actually will benefit them in helping them to save time. You could just do your filing, your payment right at your organization. You don't need to come to Inland Revenue.
And to add to what Mr. Penny is saying, we have a lot of Grenadians who live abroad who have businesses locally and they have to file. So GTAX is accessible to you no matter where you are in the world. So if you're in China, if you're in Afghanistan, if you're in the States, simply just go on to tax.gov.gd and the process is there right in front of you to complete.
All right. You don't want to say I have to come back to Grenada to file my taxes anymore.
Correct. You don't have. Well, you don't have to. Correct.
You don't have to.
So GTAX should bring an increase in compliance, meaning persons will be able to file on time, be aware of the filing, be aware of the payment, and make the payments on time. It also helps Inland Revenue in the processing of the information because a lot of the information now is automatically processed, so you have a saving time on the Inland Revenue end, on the taxpayer end. Efficiency will increase.
Oh, great.
And also, before you move on, the dashboard record, you see record keeping?
Yes.
GTAX provides that. So you can go into one platform, look at your tax obligations, and see your tax health, so to speak. All the tax liabilities, all the tax obligations will be right there for you. We have heard in the past that persons complain about the ink on the receipt paper that is feeding. GTAX will put an end to that kind of worry.
Okay, great.
And all of your information for previous months. So let's say you file we're now in 2026. At the end of December, once you have filed every month, at the end of December, you should be able to see everything you have filed throughout the year. So you no longer have to save receipts that are, as Mr. Cadet said, fade in. You can't find the receipts. You can't find in the email. Just simply go onto the platform and it's easily there.
So it's like available to see your payment history from when you started to where you got into right now.
Correct.
All right. Now, there always will be the question from taxpayers, we didn't mention it initially already, but I hope we could get it a little bit more detail in terms of the availability of support. When I say the availability of support, as we mentioned, we did talk about folks who are not tech savvy and all of that, but navigating the whole GTax platform, the availability of support when it comes to that. There are some folks who may say, well, after all that we say today, they may say, I still don't understand. Mm-hmm. There are things that folks just would not understand for various reasons. The support that will come from it, so that will be offered per se from.
Right. So this question, speaks directly to our operations, service delivery, our taxpayer service, really. So in-person support, you can get that.
Yeah.
It's almost guaranteed. There are some taxpayers, because over the years they built a relationship with the tax office. Some taxpayers interact with us at any hour, and because we are proud public servants, where sometimes we carry our work home. We respond to taxpayers as soon as our emails are addressed, people have access to it, we respond. So persons can get that support in person when they come into the office. They can touch base with us, call us on WhatsApp, call us on our phone numbers, send emails. We also provide support, and Nikisha is doing a very good job there. Our Facebook page and our social media pages are very active. So from time to time, we are putting some little snippets up there. Our intention is to use the AI tool to activate live chat sessions.
Okay.
Right? We'll call somebody Mr. Tax, who will be a little cartoon character. When you ask him a question, or perhaps her a question, a response will come to you. So these are some of the things that are in our engine room, as part of our roadmap. But we understand that because we are in transition mode, persons will be expected to hear a lot from us. So we are here today. We will be going out to the communities and having different satellite offices. We may have a road show. We have to bring the information out.
All right.
And can I add to?
Sure, go ahead.
Right.
Go
so
ahead.
On our schedule, we also have planned a interactive sessions with the different persons in Grenada. So one of our target markets for next week is the financial institutions of Grenada.
Okay.
So we're going to have a live Zoom session with the banks, credit unions, insurance companies, even companies like MoneyGram, Western Union. So we're going to have them on a Zoom call. We're going to show them exactly how to sign up for the platform, and then we're going to have a question and answer interactive session after. Even though the Zoom session is going to be approximately an hour and a half, we will leave information so that persons will know who exactly to reach out to in the event that you have questions.
Okay.
Right? And also we have a series of videos that we have created, basically showing persons how to navigate through the GTax platform. So, for example, there's a video called How to Sign Up as a Existing Taxpayer. How do you sign up as a First-Time Taxpayer? How do you file for a return? So there are over 6, maybe 12 videos we have, right? And we haven't gotten to upload all of them to the website as yet, but it's in the making. So any questions you have in relation to GTax, you can easily go to the website and get the step-by-step guide on how to do XYZ.
And for individuals who like more, they or spend most of their time via the social media platforms, I'm assuming there's a Facebook page that they could also go view these videos in time to come?
Correct. So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
All right. Great. Transparency is also a key factor for both, the taxpayer, the IRD. Would GTax help to improve transparency?
Of course, because of the online platform and your ability to go onto the website and see everything that concerns you. You will see, as I said, you will see your payments you made. You will see the filings you made. You will see if you have balances or not, how old the balance is, or you'll see if you have a refund in the system. So that increases the transparency in comparison to before, when you had to come in and make postal inquiries and you understand. So everything is in your face and ink fade out, or maybe we cannot even find your return in a file. All these things took place before, but now everything is in your face. Everything is at your reach.
All right.
And for the Inland Revenue, it eases up the pressure, the manual labor of collecting papers and taking information from the people and putting the system.
Exactly.
It makes our tasks easier to manage. It's a great benefit for us. So when we were thinking about the new tax system, we had our taxpayers in mind, and we also had our officers in mind.
You see, that engagement with the platform give taxpayers more responsibility also. Put them in charge of what's taking place. Instead of someone has to enter your figures, you personally enter in the figures. You are there hitting save to see the results. Everything is right there.
Yes.
What advice would you like to tell taxpayers right now in terms of getting their mindset engaged to the GTax platform? What advice would you like to give to them in relation to that?
I would say to Grenadians that we have moved with the international community. The future, our life really evolve around the digital environment. Paying tax should be our business. It should be a priority for us. We want you to be very comfortable. That's why we are here. That is why government decided to go and invest in this platform. It's for you. GTax is not for the workers of Inland Revenue. It's not for the government, but it's for Grenadians. And I really want Grenadians to see this investment as an investment that will be a fruit. As we try our best to change, as I said, the tax culture, we want people to see paying tax as not being burdensome, but paying tax should be just fulfilling your basic civic duty. So we'll advise Grenadians to get on board as soon as they possibly can. Come in, ask questions, check our Facebook pages, call our phone lines. Yeah, sometimes we don't answer in a timely manner, right? But leave messages, we'll get back to you. We will get back to you. We want Grenadians, all of us, to really enjoy the use of GTax.
All right. We're due for a break. Let's take it when we come back. We continue with the conversation. Stay with us, folks. To the Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We coming right back.
Looking for... If you thought 2025 was amazing, get ready, Grenada. GBN's Old Young Fest is back and bigger than ever. Join us on Saturday, the 31st of January at Pearl's Airstrip for a full day of food, culture, and fun. Watch competitors battle it out for the title of the best original oil down, the best seafood oil down, and the most festive display. Enjoy live calypso and a steel pan, children's activities, traditional ring games, and plenty vibes for the whole family. Gates open at 10 a.m. Don't miss the celebrations of Grenada's national dish, GBN Old Young Fest, where culture, flavor, and tradition comes together. See you on Saturday, January 31st at Pearl's Airstrip. And remember, Grenada, are you ready for the biggest football showdown to kick off 2026? Our senior men's national team is back, and they're going for 7 straight wins. Sunday, January 18th, Team Grenada takes on regional rivals Jamaica in a clash of titans at the Karani James Athletic Stadium. Kickoff 5 p.m. sharp. It's pride, power, and pure Caribbean football. Grenada versus Jamaica, a rivalry like no other. Can we make it 7 in a row? Come feel the energy, the passion, the fight. Tickets just $25 for adults, $10 for children. Kids under 10 enter free. Grab yours now at Heather's Boutique, Chucky's Bar, Grenadian Optical, or GFA's office. Tell your friends, bring the family, and let's pack the stadium. This is more than a match. This is Grenada versus Jamaica, and we want all of you to be in the stands. Sunday, January 18th at 5 p.m. Grenada versus Jamaica. One team, one goal.
Got something to share?
Call us at 440-1252.
WhatsApp 405-3052 or 407-8458.
Or email gbnnews@gbn.gd.
GBN News, first and Accurate. Voted number 1.
Welcome back once again to our listeners and viewers. It's To The Point here on Classic Radio GBN TV. I'm your host, GT. Gentlemen, lady, let's come back to the segment once again. I want to ask, how does GTAX encourage, that volunteer tax compliance in Grenada?
Voluntary tax compliance in Grenada, which is what we always want.
Yes.
GTAX will definitely encourage that voluntary compliance because it answers a lot of questions for taxpayers that they had to make a great effort to get the answer before. Yeah. Because, for example, a taxpayer will go online, you will see the due date for every tax type that you are liable to pay from the time you log in. So then it helps you, the due date, before maybe you're busy working, you're caught up in your business, you may forget the due date. Or you may have to call if you're not clear. But right now, it's right in your face.
Okay.
Also, filing obligations. Once you know the due date, you know you have to file. So therefore, you'll be compliant by filing on time. You'll be compliant by paying on time. You'll be compliant by clearing your balances based on your payment arrangements. All these things will be on the GTAX platform, and you'll be seeing it readily. I mean, it's right there.
All right.
Mm-hmm. And the system, because of how it's set up, it will send you automatic reminders before the tax is due.
Correct.
So as compared to having you yourself trying to manually remember whenever everything is due. I mean, we all have, our personal lives, so keeping track of certain stuff will be very hard, right?
Paying tax we would want to remember.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's one of those things we don't want to remember.
Exactly. So the platform is going to make sure you do definitely remember your taxes is due.
All right. I mean, as officers in that particular division, is one of the complaints here. I forget.
Yes.
No, you can't forget.
No, you have that option where you get to that reminder. That would certainly help. Now, tell me, how does GTAX align with governments, the government of Grenada? We're into that digital transformation era that we're into right now. And the goal of government in terms of the digital transformation. How does GTAX,
Well, the GTAX is part of the DG4R project funded by the World Bank, DG4R, Digital Government for Resilience Project. It is a flagship project under that program or that project. I think it's part of government's, as I said, transformational journey where we look at digital inclusion. I think the goal of government is to ensure that we streamline our services, ensure that the services that we offer to not just taxpayers now, but Grenadian citizens are at a level where persons feel more comfortable, more convenient to interact with us. So GTAX provides that opportunity. There's a strong link, it aligns directly with the transformational agenda of the government, where service delivery, where digitalizing all essential government services on one particular platform. So we are proud that we can be able to partner with the government to ensure that GTAX provides that opportunity for Grenadians to understand that we are living in a digital environment.
All right. My next question, from the inception of this platform, what has the feedback been from the public thus far? Individuals who maybe have used it already, and actually feedback is important for, they're already in understanding how, that how users are feeling when they're doing it. Folks get on and do it, but there's always an issue of how we need feedback. It helps with improving
of course.
And so how has the feedback been thus far?
Thus far, the feedback has been positive. We haven't gotten much negative feedback as to the system and the idea of having an online digital platform, but presently we are in implementation process. Yes. So a lot of the feedbacks, we are even happy to get it because it is helping us to make like a tweaks and so in the system to make it more even user friendly, make it more make it a better system. So the feedback has been positive. Yes, it you will have persons saying I'm not getting through with certain things, but this is the feedbacks we want because we are in implementation process where we are actually bringing that system to perfection.
All right. I mean, you can apply the different tweaks there. We
could apply the different tweaks from the feedbacks we're getting so far, but nothing negative.
Right. Who has been of course, you have said so far that have been using the GTAX a whole lot? Are we seeing the small businesses or the individual taxpayers who have been using the GTAX thus far since implementation?
Well, we have big businesses, we have small businesses, we have individuals using the system so far. Because for the past year, we had the PAYE, we have the VAT already being paid in the GTAX system and filed in the GTAX system. Okay. We also had the corporate income tax installments being paid in the GTAX system. So we have a mix of everybody using the system. And we've been getting feedback from all persons.
Yeah, we see feedback as a gift. As Penny said, whenever we get encouragements, right, we take them on board because we see the system as evolving into something maybe even greater. So we are now in 2026. We know as we speak the technology is changing and we have to move with the changes. So all the little interaction that persons have been making with the system so far, they are giving us that feedback. We are taking them on board and they are part of our roadmap to be implemented at some stage as we go forward.
All right. Now, there are going to be individuals out there, taxpayers who have not registered, I'm assuming, not yet. You asked me that question offline. I'll get it done. What message would you like to share with them this morning and offer them that encouragement to do it? As you mentioned, GTAX will make life easier for those individuals. Whether it's your business or individual, don't want you a taxpayer in general, GTAX will make life easier for you. What message would you like to show to them?
I would say get acquainted with the platform ASAP. Yeah. Don't wait till last minute. If you know your taxes are due in the next 2 weeks, do it now. Don't wait till there's a rush and then everyone is trying to navigate to the platform and then imagine having hundreds of calls coming in at the same time. Use the opportunity now to get it done before the rush because at the end of the day it benefits you.
Yeah, indeed, and there's a fear, or maybe a hesitant, maybe not fearful. Persons believe that when they register, they automatically have to pay taxes. That's not the case, because as persons interact with us, and as we come with more, we'll explain to persons that there are some exemptions that are given to you by law. So you're involved in small business, your turnover is under $300,000. What we expect you to do is to pay annual stamp tax at a rate of 0.5%, which is less than 1% GT, right? There are some persons who do not have an obligation to pay personal income tax based on the size of their turnover. So we want people to know at least the basic requirement is to register for taxes. After you register, then of course you have to file. And the law gives you different options based on where you fall in the tax bracket, how much you pay or whether or not you have to pay. So you really want to encourage across the board. And we always make the point that our responsibility as tax administrators is to close a gap between the formal sector and the informal sector. Our responsibility is to bring in as many persons as possible, persons meaning individuals or businesses, into the formal sector, so that we can get a true appreciation of the size of our economy as measured by our GDP, because right now our GDP is grossly understated because we have a lot of businesses, individuals operating outside, not just the tax loop, but outside of the formal sector. So we will not sleep until we reach that stage where we are comfortable that all who are liable or may become liable to pay taxes or indeed registered.
Of course, in this segment, we encourage, we have approximately 10 more minutes left on the program. To the listeners and viewers out there, if you do have a question or two you may like to ask my guests, please feel free to do so. 435-2041, 435-2041. You have double the options of calling, the direct line and the WhatsApp. You can use both those options, the calling and ask a question or two. I want to ask you this question, and of course, anyone you feel obligated to answer it. The benefits of paying taxes. I've got to throw that on myself. He'll probably throw that out in another way, in his way of his delivery. The benefits of paying taxes.
Benefits of paying taxes. Well, apart from the national purpose,
yes,
I could speak on the personal purpose as a business owner. If you're a business owner and you intend to grow, you intend to diversify your business, then it's very good to pay tax. Because when you go to the bank, they will want to know if you're paying taxes and how compliant you are with the Inland Revenue. Persons always have to come to us with tax compliance certificates to show that they're paying the taxes and they're in a good position tax-wise with the government.
All right.
So, as a business person, if you intend to grow, you have to pay your taxes because eventually it will come back to you.
Yeah.
It will come back to you.
You see, Penny made a point about the tax clearance certificates. Right now, we are partnering with a lot of government agencies, private sector bodies, because we're trying to build that relationship to change the consciousness of Grenadians relative to tax. And I know the communication arm of the Ministry of Finance has a program plan to deal with the benefits of paying taxes. If you don't pay, you might find yourself as a small business or a business person locking yourself out from certain opportunities within the marketplace. So to import goods, for example, from customs, to unlock a service from the government, to bid on a project, or to sell goods and or services, you will be required at least a tax number or a tax compliance certificate. Beyond fulfilling your civic duties, we can open our eyes and see the services that government has to offer to Grenadians. Talk about the schools, talk about the hospital, the healthcare sector, paying public servants. We cannot leave ourselves out, Penny, right? Indeed. Yeah, there are many, and I know I'm looking forward, to be honest with you, and this is not as a tax administrator, no, but as a Grenadian, to see that program by the Ministry of Finance rolling out on the benefits of paying taxes. Because I think when that program rolls out to the public, people will start appreciating where their dollar is going. So I'm looking forward, Nikisha, you and Russell.
That's great.
Right, I'm right, yeah?
And then to add something to that too, about another benefit that the government offers, we also we offer concessions at the port, at customs. So based on the type of business you had, you will get special concession on that, and even concession on bringing in vehicles, stuff like that, and grants that the government gives. This is all where the taxpayer dollars go. So at the end of the day, yes, you might look at that money coming out of your own pocket, but in the later days down the line, it does put back a benefit to you as well.
Right. Would you say is that individuals, especially within our Grenadian community, the lack of knowledge in terms of paying tax is one of the main reasons we see lack of compliance?
It could be. It could be because it's known that the more educated the taxpayer is, the more compliant they will be. So we have as our plan for 2026, we deem this year to be the year of the taxpayer.
Yes.
Right? It's captured in our strategic plan. It's also pulled out as our strategic focus for 2026. We have to educate our taxpayers because we believe if we do that, our expectations for compliance will improve.
Okay. We do have a caller, 435-2041. A caller via WhatsApp. Good morning, you're live. Let's hear from you. Caller, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning to you guys. Okay, JP, I just want to ask a quick question. Okay, let's say for example, right, as a resident in the United States, right, I have to pay tax or sometimes are paid at the end of the year. So I don't know if Grenada had the same tax thing like what we do in America. And at the end of the year, so we file what we call a income tax and we get a refund. All right. I don't have the same practice in Grenada also.
All right, thank you. Of course, they will get a response to that. Thank you for your question. Respond to the caller?
Yes,
the system in Grenada, the only time you get a refund is if you had an overpayment or your employer over-deducted from your salary.
Okay.
We don't have the criteria that the bigger countries have in terms of maybe the amount of children you have, or there are criteria that the big countries apply and then they give refunds and so no. Our refund process is quite simple. Our tax system is simpler than the bigger countries, whereby we have a threshold.
That's right.
And once you cross the threshold, you make the necessary payment. If for some reason there were too much taxes deducted or too little taxes deducted, that's where the discrepancy comes in.
Okay.
If too much taxes were deducted, then you get a refund. Too little, you have to make a payment upon your filing.
Okay.
But apart from that, there isn't any criteria to entitle you to a refund.
Okay, we do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome. We lost that caller there. We do have another caller via the WhatsApp. Let me see if we can grab this caller. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. You're live.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good program. Does everybody every citizen mandatory have to pay tax? And my other question is, if there's a disaster, I think the important thing for us is, in case there's a disaster, you don't have a number or something for the government to know who you are to pay tax. I think that's one of the important things. If I'm wrong, I don't know. That's it. Oh, one thing, GT. I'm going a little off track, just a little bit.
I would prefer you stay on track, though.
Yes, Tanti yard is clean, okay? Tanti yard is clean.
Okay, well, great. Nice to hear that.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a great day.
All right, that was a little off track, but you want to respond to her question she mentioned in terms of
different tax types have different obligations and expectations, and the question is a challenge in my mind for us to really roll out maybe a PR on the different tax types.
Okay.
Right. So you might be living in Grenada and perhaps you're not aware as to what tax applies to you. So I think I like the caller question. It shows that we have to do some more work on explaining the different tax types and what are the obligations are.
Okay, we do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome. Caller, good morning. We lost that caller. Let's take this one by WhatsApp. WhatsApp caller, you're live. Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning. Let's hear from you, please.
Yeah, good morning. So, if, for instance,
caller, you may have to turn off whatever device you have in the background. It's the radio or the television. Turn it down, please, or turn it off completely.
You hear me now?
Go right ahead.
Yeah, so if, say for instance, you register your business in 2024, right? But the business was not operational until now. Like the business up and running now. But you register since 2024 with the intention of starting, but because of certain things that you're just starting the business now. What happens then during those times there? Because I'm kind of illiterate towards the process really. So I've seen all you here now, so I say let me take the opportunity to probably get clarification. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. Respond to the caller.
Yes, caller. When you register for tax, or you register with Inland Revenue, then you become obligated to file certain taxes based on the nature of your business and the scale of your business. Those obligations will expect you to file the taxes based on the period of the tax. So for example, it may be monthly, it may be annually. You are expected to file because you are registered with the Inland Revenue. If your business is inactive, then you file nil
return.
A nil return. Filing is basically dropping that. Well, in the past you had to drop in a document. Now you go online and you just complete the online document and you send it in. It has nothing to do with payment because the business is inactive, but then you're being compliant because you're filing. Now that the business is active, you will have to complete the said forms with the necessary figures based on your business activity, and there are laws guiding it which we could assist you in if you don't know. When you complete the form, you could be in a payable position, or you may even remain in a non-payable position.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
A pleasant good morning.
Caller, good morning.
Earlier on, I heard that VAT has been paid already. Who paid that? But I know that if I go to any of the business places in town and a particular article costs so much, that would include VAT, etc. But VAT has been paid already. I'm a bit puzzled. Could you explain that to me, please? Thank you.
Thank you, caller.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes, VAT is a consumer tax, meaning the final consumer pays all the VAT. So, caller, when you go to the supermarket or wherever you make a purchase and you pay VAT, that is you paying VAT. This is a final VAT. You paying VAT. The person that is providing that good or service to you are not really paying VAT. You, the final customer, is the person that is paying the VAT, because persons that provide the good or the service to you are in a position where they can claim back the VAT that they paid. I don't know if that answer your question.
So they collect on behalf of the government.
They collect on behalf of the government.
Okay.
Exactly.
Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. You're live.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
About paying taxes. How is it on the government website for collecting taxes? You don't have the rules, regulation, laws, penalties listed there, so a taxpayer can access it to know what they are liable to pay. There are laws, there are regulations with regard to paying taxes. There are also penalties. I think those things should be available on the website so that any taxpayer can access it if they so desire, so that they know clearly what their liabilities are. Just a suggestion.
Thank you for that suggestion.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. Wonderful suggestion there. We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning to you.
While you're on the subject of taxes, I understand that now a government has to impose taxes to provide services, social services or whatever. But some taxes I don't understand. We get nothing for the taxes we pay. For example, if I take my own money, build my house, why am I paying house tax? That is strange, but I don't understand. I know taxes must be paid to run the government and to run social services, etc. But what is the problem with your house? My house is paid out in full. I yet I'm paying taxes. What do I get for that? What is the government give me if something happened to my house? What privilege what do I gain? So what is the purpose of the house tax? I don't understand. Could you explain?
Thank you, caller. Thank you.
The question again, I mean, that's why I said I'm looking forward to the presentation for the Ministry of Finance on the benefits of taxes. But internationally, countries look at different revenue sources. So we tax goods, we tax services, we tax income, and we also tax property. The question is, what are you getting back? You may not get back things directly. And in some cases, you never know, because I always remember the experience of COVID and the experience of burial, where some of the Grenadians who were challenged, where revenue streams were not coming in, they will be given support by the government. So whenever government provides those concessionary support, it comes from the tax dollars. So you may or may not benefit from it directly. The maintenance of the road is a direct benefit that we're getting. So we have to start seeing where the tax dollars going. And again, I want to repeat, I am looking forward to that series of presentations that the Ministry of Finance will do on the benefits of taxes.
Okay, we do have another caller. Caller, good morning, you're live.
Good day, GT, to you and your panel. 3 quick questions. Is the tax information open source? Is it available to third party? 2, are we adapting credit score financial system? And 3, in terms of your business being registered as like a sole trader, is it a smoother transition to go into a company based on the platform that you have?
All right, that's it, caller. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, so the one with the credit score, I know some financial institutions have just signed on to the credit bureau, that regional body. The Inland Revenue Division is not part of that as yet. Maybe there's room for us to interact with them to see what's possible for us, because what we realize, owing the government should also act as a credit, right? It should be part, in fact, we also ask the banks and credit unions to include the government of Grenada as part of the underwriting process. So when they do their credit checks, they usually contact the financial institutions. They don't usually contact us. We want to shift that narrative where IRD is part of that credit check. So there is room for us to engage. I think it's Every Data is the name of the company that is providing that credit bureau assistance to the financial institutions. So we have to look at that. But what we do at IRD with our new system, we are building a risk profile of every taxpayer. So inbuilt in the system, taxpayers are classified according to the risk. So we have high risk taxpayers, we have medium, and we have low. And those information comes from the data that we've built over time from our taxpayers.
In terms of if you are a sole trader and you want to become a company, then you have to re-register, because a company is a separate person, legal person from the sole trader. When you're a sole trader, you and the business is one. When you become a company, then the company becomes a separate entity, so you have to re-register.
Okay.
You have to register that company then, and you will remain registered, but the company have to register separately.
All right. Think those are fair? I think you got all in. All right, we do have another caller, which may be my final caller for the morning. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning, GT, and good morning to your guests. There's one question I want to ask, and I want to make one clarification. Now, I'll do the question. Let me do the clarification first. In Grenada, we pay tax not on house, but we pay tax on land, because the house is not assessed, but the square footage of the land is assessed, and only tax have been paid on land. Now, the other thing is regards to, could there be a system where your number, which is your NIS number, and your tax number coordinate as one number, so that once a person automatically gets a NIS number or NIS number, that is their tax number. So in the sense that every person once they're born, they're given that number. And then, so that you can get when you're doing a census, you can therefore then tie everything together, so you know the population amounts and everything tied in together as one. So if you tie that in, once you get the number upon birth, that number can be tied to your tax number, it can be tied to your NIS, it can be tied to everything that goes along with your social benefits as well as your tax paying ability. If that happens, then it makes it quite easier for government to be able to collect the taxes, pay the benefits, and to do everything in one, so that system would automatically cause everything to be much more easy and smoother. So you don't have to go places for different things, but you can go into one place and do everything together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you for your contribution.
Souls aligned, because just on Monday we had that conversation in the office. We were looking at to mimic like what the American system has with the social security. I think that is where the nation has to start thinking to kind of tie all those, to integrate the different services, the different requirements. I think that is where we should be pushing the envelope on it. I like that question because souls really align where that is concerned.
Okay. I said it was going to be a final caller, but I'll give this caller the opportunity to make a contribution. Caller, you're live, and you will be our final caller for the morning. We're with overtime. Good morning. Go right ahead, please.
Yeah. I'm asking myself if that is true. You or one doesn't have to pay tax for a house. I don't know if that is true. At the same time, your house or somebody's house, to some extent, after you finish building, it's always deteriorating. But other necessities, for example, when someone is working and so on and so on and so on, his wages would go up. So there is need for perhaps changing the tax or the taxes on wages and so on as the years go by, because we tend to be modernizing, but your house tend to be deteriorating. So every year you have it deteriorates. So I don't think people should be paying taxes on houses, except the deterioration of the taxes should take place according to the house too. In other words, the value of the house goes down. So similar to the amount of money you pay for taxes for the houses should go down too. Because anyhow, thank you very much.
Thank you, caller.
Let me just clarify. Yeah, property tax includes both land and building. Both land and building.
All right. I have a question from someone online, and they're saying when shipping an item from overseas, the cost of shipping is added and to clearing the item. Is this tax or custom fees? That was someone that asked that.
Customs have their duties and they have their fees. If you're looking for the word tax, the tax that you will pay there is the VAT. The VAT is on it. But customs have the customs service charge. They have different fees at the customs, but they apply to the shipping cost of the items.
All right. I want to ask you folks to make any closing remarks as we take the wrap for today. You want to go first?
I'll go first. I just want to encourage again Grenadians to continue to partner with us at the Inland Revenue. We are transforming our work experiences. There will be some areas where you may not feel inclined to come in. So we're saying don't come in. You can call us. You can interact with us. Send emails. We are here to serve you. We are really pride ourselves on being excellent public servants, where we go the extra mile to ensure that what we do provides comfort and security by the launching of this GTax platform.
All right. Anything in conclusion?
I would like to add, because there are a lot of persons who still don't know that we have a new branch at the Galleria Mall. So we're really trying to push that location. You don't have to necessarily come all the way to town. Yeah, so we know Granite is a hot spot. So pop by Galleria Mall. It's right opposite. It's the Grenville Credit Union. Yeah. Right next to the
basketball
gas station. Right next to the basketball court. Right next to Esther's.
I think it's called the Legacy Building, if I'm right about that.
Yes, and, I would like to tell the taxpayers of Grenada that this year should be a feel-good year.
Yes.
Because I know come March 31st, a lot of persons are used to being in a line all outside, hours out in the sun, having to drop off returns in boxes. All that stuff is now at an end.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's a feel-good year. Persons could just go onto the phone and complete their obligation.
All right. The year of the taxpayer.
The year of the taxpayer.
I want to thank you folks once again for popping in this morning and sharing the information. Yes, I know it's fruitful information. I hope that folks will make the necessary use of the, of course, the tax.gov.gd. Yes. And of course sign up for the register for their GTax and make life easier for themselves in terms of paying their taxes. I hope it not be a one-off for you for popping by. Maybe we could do this again.
Perhaps we could actually be in for a longer period.
Because could pop by again, and of course, I'm sure there's much more you would like to throw out in terms of information in relation to paying taxes. Thank you, folks, once again.
Next time when we come up, we'll help you sign up.
Yeah, all of that.
Thank you, GT. Always a pleasure to
you. All right. Hey, folks, that's what we're going to take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point. Thanks once again for all who viewed, who listened, and who, of course, contributed some way there by your calls. Thanks once again. That's what we say goodbye.